So these are the giant beanbag chairs by Homguava and Maxyoyo. And the first thing we're taking a look at is comfort. So when I go on the Homguava, I sit in, I feel nice and firm in place. And when I go in the Maxyoyo, this is gonna feel a lot more squishier. And one more thing to note is I'm a little bit lower to the ground. So maybe if you're somebody shorter, this wouldn't be a big of an issue. And if you're somebody taller, then it might be more harder to get up on this one versus on this one. Now, as far as width goes, this one is gonna be a little bit more narrow, as you see here. So my legs just fit in here. I still can do a crisscross applesauce if I want to, but when I take a look at the Maxyoyo, this one is just gonna be much more roomy. So if you're somebody wider, you're not gonna have a problem sitting over here. And same thing goes for crisscross applesauce. Now, as far as sturdiness goes, when I sink into this one, I feel like I can kind of move this one a little bit more around, kind of go with the flow. Whereas when I go on the Homguava, this one is just a little bit more firmer. It stays in place. And one thing about both these is you do need a backrest to have as much support as possible, because if I move it away from the wall and I try to lean back, I lean back a little bit too much, although I still do feel supported here. Whereas when I go on the Maxyoyo, I feel like I'll lean way more back and it just doesn't have enough firmness to support me. So you really do need to be against the wall, and the Maxyoyo especially. Now, as far as styles goes, they're gonna vary, but I'm just gonna compare what I have here. So for the Maxyoyo, this one's gonna be soft. It's gonna feel like a blanket. The fur is not too thick, whereas on the Homguava, the fur is gonna be a lot thicker, a lot longer, and it kind of reminds me of like a sheep or like a dog type fur. Now, one thing I did notice about these two is the way they're made, because this one, everything just feels tight. Everything feels like you can't really pull it out or anything like that. And that's because on the sides, all the way here, it's gonna be sewn in place. Whereas on the Maxyoyo, everything's gonna be a lot looser, so you can move this out. Now, when I flip both the beanbag chairs over, we're gonna have two different materials. On the Maxyoyo, it's gonna be a thin fabric with some rubber coating, and this is gonna help basically just grip it to the floor more. Whereas in the Homguava, this is gonna be a thicker fabric. There's gonna be no rubber on it, but it definitely does feel durable because, again, this is thick. Now, storage features are always nice, and Maxyoyo is gonna actually have a storage feature, and that's gonna be on the right side. We're gonna have a pocket right over here. It's big enough to put a book, but small enough that you can't fit something large like a laptop. So overall, both of these work great for different types of people. If you want something a little bit more clean, aesthetically pleasing, I'd say the Homguava would be yours. And if you want something a little bit longer, something more cushiony, comfy looking, then definitely go for the Maxyoyo. My personal favorite is gonna be the Homguava. It just feels a little bit firmer. It fits me cozier into place. And most importantly, I like the look of it. And yeah, but that's a quick look at the giant beanbag chairs.